Broadway beats. Broadway, listen to the Broadway beats. Broadway makes you wanna move your feet. Everybody's tapping into everything that's happening on Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beats. Broadway beats.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our weekly look at the New York theater scene on and off Broadway. The new musical, Wicked, playing at the Gershwin Theater, has worked its way into one of this season's biggest hits. This week we'll give you a very special behind-the-scenes look at this wonderful musical that tells the untold story of the Witches of Oz. Based on Gregory Maguire's best-selling novel, Wicked has a book by Winnie Holzman and a score by Academy Award winner Stephen Schwartz.
Just two friends, two good friends, two best friends.
Sharing one wonderful one shot.
The wizard will see you now.
It's got such a heart. It is so emotional. It's emotionally charged. You think it's just about two girls, you know, Glinda, the pretty blonde, and Elphaba, the little green problem, and suddenly they become very real people. And by the end, when their whole relationship has changed, if you have a dry eye, I'll be surprised. Really surprised. And I think kids, by kids I mean young teens, older teens, young people, really relate to somebody who is stigmatized for one thing or another and has to find a way through it. And see these kids who have seen the show 2, 3, 4, upwards times and are affected so deeply by it. There's a couple of songs I can't listen to because I have to go on next, and they tear me up. And I'm, you know, I'm playing Betty Davis in almost anything. But I mean, it's a wonderful show. It's got everything in it. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, makes you feel. I think that's the bottom line: is you come in and you are forced, not forced in a bad way, but you are forced to confront your own feelings and to feel along with these people.
Or did you?
You listen to me, Missy. You may have fooled the rest of us with this anti-good routine. I know better. You wanted this since the beginning. Now you're getting what you wanted. So just smile and wave. And shut up! Creating Madame Marable wasn't easy. To take something off the written page, but know that it's been changed because the musical is not the book exactly, the book of the book. The book that Gregory Maguire wrote is not exactly 100% the book that Winnie Holzman has produced. So it's not an easy character. I didn't want her to just be one-faceted. I didn't want her to be just an evil old cow in gorgeous costumes. I wanted her to really fool the audience as much as possible. For them to go, oh, she's horrible. No, she isn't. She's adorable. Look at, and so the creation did not come easily, but it came. This one was modelled after a Klimt painting, so we call it verklimpt.
I would take this in from the
All right.
But just the intricate detail. You look at the bead.
I'm sure this is code for if you're close enough to read this off. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes?
Looks like hieroglyphics.
It is
almost.
hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
But it's hieroglyphics for bugger off.
And look at the that's great.
Oh, that's the back.
Beautiful.
There's a wonderful little story I have. Have we got time for my little story? I'm in San Francisco, and I'm standing in the wings waiting to go on in this dress, and I'm thinking, I'm losing weight because this feels so lovely and light tonight. And I look down, and there is the sweatshirt that I'm wearing underneath. You can see my boots through it, my mic pack. You can actually see my hand through it now. We had forgotten to put my slip on. And there is just no time. So I took this very long train and I wrapped it round me like a toga, and I played the whole thing rather sort of sheepishly, wearing a green chiffon toga. But talk about quick. How about that?
That's perfect.
Yeah?
Now let's see this one next. That's beautiful.
This is the coat too. Oh my God. This is called Polly Wants a Cracker.
I love that you've named them.
Oh yeah, well, there you go. This is curled ostrich. Who wouldn't want to wear all of this? Can you see the sleeves with a huge cuff? I get quite a reception in this. Look at the workmanship. I mean, have you ever seen anything so bloody good? Look at underneath the collar that you don't see.
Breathtaking.
That's what you don't see. I worship Susan Hilferty. I think she is just brilliant. This really doesn't show up. It's got a huge bustle that comes out of the back. But no, don't look at the hole. That's not attractive. I'll just spread the whole thing so that you can see it. Isn't that wonderful?
I play Nessa Rose, who is Elphaba's crippled sister, who in the book has no arms, but for our purposes, I have arms, thank God, because I would probably die backstage. She is the younger sister of Elphaba. They go to school together. Elphaba's sort of in charge of her. Nessa Rose is excited. It's her first time to sort of explore herself and be on her own and be as independent as she possibly can. She goes through a series of sort of, has her first date, goes to her first dance, and I personally think, starts to feel like a girl, and starts to feel her own self instead of being taken care of by her sister all the time. A few things happen, and her sister sort of ruins things for her at the dance, which kind of happens all the time to her. And she becomes a really, really bitter girl. Understandably, I think it's understandable. She's frustrated. Once again, her life sort of gets away from her. Her father dies. Her sister becomes sort of a fugitive that is hated by society, and she's connected to that. Her father dies. She has to become the governor of Munchkinland. And, once again, is not able to choose what she wants to do with her life. And consequently becomes pretty evil and manipulative, so that she can sort of get the life that she wants by enslaving the boy she went to the dance with, Bach, who she loves, and enslaving all of the other munchkins to go along with it, because he's a munchkin. And she becomes the Wicked Witch of the East, basically, out of bitterness and frustration, I think.
That means
Oh, my shoes! It feels like they're on fire! What have you done to my shoes?
I looked at drawings, the original drawings of the wizard, and read all kinds of early history about Frank Baum, but what he had in mind and how it was about populism. It was a piece about populism and the gold standard and the silver standard. The ruby slippers were really silver, and the yellow brick road, so it was gold and silver. Those were the the tips. And then I read the book, Wicked, and I didn't look at the movie. I didn't want to even remember that. I mean, who could forget Judy Garland? But I never had a very specific, strong feeling about Frank Morgan. Just never, he was not my favorite character. And in order to play it, he had to become my favorite character.
But it must be great when you create.
I love the idea of, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I love the idea of the secret in this production that's not in the movie. That sort of pushed me over the edge. That's kind of was my clue into the character, was about his wanting to be the father of everyone in Oz and to take care of them. And he thought he was. I think it is a very good story about things that people can identify with immediately, about being an outsider, about being selfish, about friendship, and about how it gets lost. And everybody loses in this play, and the audience cheers. I mean, they weep, but they've had an experience. They've seen. Something has changed in everybody because of this story.
I'll show you what shoes to wear, how to fix that hair, everything that really counts to be popular. I'll help you be popular. You'll hang with the right cohorts, you'll be good at sports, know the slang you've got to know. So let's start, 'cause you've got an awfully long way to go.
What I loved so much about the role was that she was really funny and kind of shallow, and the girl that we love to kind of go, oh, roll our eyes at, but you love her. And that's the trick with the part, is to play her not petulant, but, you know, it all comes from a real place. I mean, she gives Elphaba a makeover because that's her way of saying, you know, I love you and I want to be friends, which is sort of shallow but sweet in her way. And then why I really wanted to do the show was for the acting, and because Glinda has, I feel, one of the bigger transformations that we've seen from a music theater leading lady in a long time, because by the end it's really what she's been through that has made her good, and that's why I wanted to do the part. And because it's a story about two women and their friendship, and how women can treat each other, and how they can be kind of mean and then kind of great, and then forgive and move on, and then come back together. And that's what drew me to the piece, and it continues eight nights a week about the incredible feelings I have as I continue this show, and I'm still learning so much. I feel so blessed and lucky to get to do this part every night.
With you and I defying gravity, they'll never bring us down.
Well, you know, I'm the type of performer that not one show is the same. First of all, I've been given a song that allows me to play a little bit somewhat, the song Popular, and sometimes things happen in my number and I am able to talk about it. And, you know, I think with the one thing that's happened with me is I've just got more confident as the show has gone on. And so, therefore, she's gotten more confident, which makes it even more tragic, sort of, when she ends up alone without her best friend. So I think the confidence is there now, and also really finding what works, you know, what the audiences respond to. They love Glinda because they go, I know that girl. And then she's not at all what they thought at the end, so it's really great. Well, it's like Glinda gave Elphaba the hat. And she wears that pointed hat through the whole show. And there's one very poignant moment for me as an actress to look up at Elphaba in the duet that we sing in Act 2 called For Good. That's extremely emotional for me to sing every night. But she looks at Elphaba and she said, she looks at her hat, she just touches her hat like, you're still wearing that hat, you know? I love that. It's been really fun getting to know her. I didn't know her before this process, and we've just had fun discovering these parts together. And, you know, we've become friends because we've been thrust into this process, and you do 8 shows a week, you become family. But I've become close with all of them. Carole Shelley and Joel Grey. Joel Grey has become like a second, you know, parent to me, and Carole Shelley. Norbert Butz is just amazing with our love interest, as our love interest. And so actually all of the people that I work with are very special to me. And I think when I leave someday, it's going to be really hard because, you know, with Charlie Brown, there was only 6 of us. So we had our truly like brothers and sisters with our dysfunctions and all. And we all love each other to this day. We're very close, and I expect it'll be this way with Norbert and Carole and Joel and Idina, and it's just great.
Because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
I think it's the story. I think the show holds up. I think that it's characters that we all know, like you said, but that you discover, like how the Tin Man becomes tin, why the lion is the way he is. So automatically walk in and we have an advantage because people know the characters already that we're going to talk about, and how we're going to change, and what's going to evolve, and how you know, Alphabet becomes green, and it's just. And that they were friends, you know? It's so Americana, but even somebody from China that came to our show that didn't speak English came backstage to meet Joel and was crying and was moved by the piece. So to me that says, it's one of those shows that it makes people really, they're surprised at how moving it is. And no matter what language you speak, it's going to touch you in some way. And you're going to be able to relate to some character, you know?
To apply the green makeup, to do the entire thing, like a half hour now, we got it down. Used to take longer, but now with Joe, this is Joe, my the makeup designer for the show, and helps me, and he also helps me do the makeup every day.
Perfect.
It's Mac, and Joe, this was already made, this green, right? We just got lucky. They didn't have to make a brand new color. And it's this pancake thing, and it's actually, you add water to, we use these Japanese brushes, they're really soft. And he dips it in water, and then it's like watercoloring me. And it's light, it's not really, I think I've worn more makeup in other shows than I actually do with the green, or at least heavier. Well, I read the book, and I absolutely love the book, and I love the character in the book. I loved, you know, that she was this underdog, and that the twist on the entire character, and how the audience would come in with these ideas about her, and then I'd get to sort of turn that. And obviously working with Stephen Schwartz back then, I mean, you don't know what you're getting into, so you go with the collaboration and the creative team, and if you trust that and you're excited to work with those people, Joe Mantello and Winnie Holtzman, you gotta kind of just trust that they're gonna guide it in the right direction, because it's 2-3 years away from when I got involved. And just sort of enjoy the journey and the things you could learn from them, and actually not be as result-oriented, and know sometimes things aren't going to work. You're going to do a reading, and certain things are going to fall kind of short. But what I learned as an actress and as a musician with both of them was enough that if it never even made it to Broadway, it didn't matter. It was important for my evolution as a human being, I guess.
No, because great you say that, because I would think with the creation of a whole show out of town, I mean, things change on a day-to-day basis sometimes.
I mean, even funding, how often you know if something is going to even make it to fruition? You don't know. So, and we had to I had to commit that I wouldn't do much else, like a TV show or another play. So, yeah, you really have to take a leap of faith and enjoy the process. And that's what's so great about new musicals. I mean, and originating a character is how they start to, they hire you and then they start to, write things that fit you, uniquely you, and then I would take from them and then to be at this point and look back and see that this is a woman that we created together. Obviously with the inspiration of Gregory Maguire's character and the inspiration of the Wicked Witch of the West from the movie and Margaret Hamilton, and then sort of, what Idina was going to make of that. It was all really exciting, and like I said, if it didn't make it to this, I would have still been a better artist, I think, having had the experience.
When people see me, they will scream for half of Oz's favorite team, the Wizard and
I have thought about the success of the show and sort of count my lucky stars every day, because it is rare, especially an original musical. And I think it's the story. It's something that appeals to all ages, which is rare. It's a smart enough, intelligent enough story for adults to get in there and have fun discovering and figuring out what's going to happen next, and then it's got and then for kids, obviously, it's that's evident, but it's an intimate story within a spectacle, so it has everything that everyone goes to a musical to see. And
everyone deserves a chance to fly and live on flying solo. At least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me.
What I found quite interesting, people coming to the theater know The Wizard of Oz, and they think they know all these characters, and no one would have ever rooted for the Wicked Witch of the West.
Right.
And then you come to this and you see this wonderful story, and you feel so much, because you figure out how this woman came the way she was, and you realize she's the one you root for.
Yeah, well, obviously that's what I love about it. And that was difficult to create and to work on as far as the book goes. There was a tender balance as to trying to make her real and have quote warts and spunkiness and not always be so nice, because I think they were worried that if they made her, she wasn't likable, then obviously we had nowhere to go. On the other hand, how we have to make her real and have these levels. So we'd play with how much of a sense of humor does she have, how honest can she be when she's younger, how angry can she get before she gets angry, and all that kind of stuff.
I was wondering when you really feel that Elphaba is sort of evolved before you do a performance.
It's gone through some different, I have different choice. It used to be putting on the green, but now you sort of become immune to that. So I think sometimes putting on that cap and the boots are flat. Everybody has these great high-heeled shoes, and they all look really fierce, and I have these kind of, the way it makes me walk, I feel kind of dumpy and nerdy, and the little cap and the glasses help me for the beginning of the show.
I think the wig. The wig is the big. The makeup comes first, then the wig, then the eyebrows, and then I have a little break to warm up physically, to get ready in the body. And then Al comes in and does my mustache, and then there's no turning back.
I get into this bubble and I go up by myself up into the rafters of the theater, and I have about 5 minutes usually by myself, and I'm up there and I'm thinking about Glenda, and I'm thinking about what's just happened to her. What's just happened, because And the opening scene for me, as the actress, it's hard because she has to be very presentational and happy, but she's heartbroken. So it's playing two things at the same time, and that gives me the time to really think about it. And the minute I hear the orchestra play that first note, and I see down below me, I can actually see down the people dancing and cheering for Elphaba's death. I actually feel I have to go tell these people what's going on.
I have a very quick costume change out of that into our first shiz scene, and I'm usually kind of chatty backstage, but during that change I don't talk at all, and I'm putting my braces on and sort of, you know, and I'm not really all that method, but I do find that I'm pretty quiet in those 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and I get into the wheelchair, and it's sort of there. So I guess the costume change, I would say.
I'll tell you what she is. She's the two dark sort of commas I do under my nose, which point my nose and give me a slight animal look. And that's when I know that Morrible has arrived.
What a way to be seeing the city where so many roam to. We'll call it home too. And then just like now we can say we're just two friends, two good friends, two best friends. Sharing one